Welcome to Nitpicking Nerds, and today it's time to answer the age-old question.
Are these 10 highly played commander cards worth buying?
I'm your host, Joe Cherries.
I'm your host, BZ, and that makes us the Nitpicking Nerds. We're bringing you new videos every day. You can always count on us for a thought-provoking, serious commander video that's very entertaining. So if you want to support the lifestyle we're living, because we're making this every day, as a job, go to patreon.com. Links in the description. All you got to do is pick your favorite tier, and you're supporting the nerds.
Supporting the Nitpicking Nerds. Another way to do that would be to go to the TCG Player affiliate link in the description below. Click on that link. As long as you started with that link, all purchases made will be supporting the Nitpicking Nerds, and that will be appreciated. If you like Dragon Shields, the best sleeves in the multiverse, tough as scales, as the kids might say.
Like the first one.
You like the first one better? Me too. You can go out to those links and buy Dragon Shields, the best sleeves, literally ever. EU, US links in the description below.
With all that squared away, we can get into the first card. These are all submitted by people on our Discord, and now this one, how have we not done this? This is part 6 of Worth Buying, and we have not done this card.
Yes, it is Grave Titan. This is a 6-mana 6/6 with Death Touch. When it enters the battlefield, it makes 2/2/2s, and when it attacks, it makes 2/2/2s. This was submitted by Nicole Bolasinski.
Quality name.
Very quality name. So Grave Titan is currently $11, and I don't think this card is really worth buying overall. This 6-drop big splashy slot can be filled by a lot of things, and a lot of things do it cheaper for less than $5 even.
Yeah, I mean, let's say you want to stay at this power level where it's like, yeah, it impacts the board. It's not going to like win the game by itself. It's just sort of like a dude that makes more dudes. I think there's still like a ton of other things you can go for. I mean, I'm thinking like Sepulchral Primordial. You can pay 1 more mana and like $11 less and just get 4 creatures right away.
There's also there's the green one, the Tolvlar's one, that also is like no dollars.
It's the same card.
Yeah, it's the same. It's basically the same card. You just gotta want to get it flipped. You can also get the one that makes 1/1 insects. That's -2 cents. I think they pay you.
They give you money.
They give you money to take that card from them. $11 is just too much for a card that's not that impactful. Yeah, I know it goes infinite with the classics. It goes infinite with Nim Deathmantle and Ashnod's Altar, but so does Marionette Master, and that wins the game when you do it. So does
Weaponcraft Enthusiast.
Weaponcraft Enthusiast. There's a bunch of other ones that also do the same infinite combo. Grave Titan, $11. No, not looking to spend that money.
It's a meme on the channel because we always hate on this card when we get a chance. But actually, I would not recommend ever buying this.
Yes, I would not. For $11, the only way it's making it into my deck is if I already have it, and then I want
trade binder deck,
and I want to play a lower power deck.
Yeah. All right. Number 2, submitted by Mossy Firecrest, another good name. Oversold Cemetery, sitting at $17.
This card's really interesting to me. Obviously, the decks that will play in Oversold Cemetery won't have problems meeting the condition of having 4 creatures in their graveyard. Now, that being said, it's returning 1 creature a turn. It's an upkeep trigger. It's a bit slow, but the incremental value can be worth it, and it's only a 2-mana investment. $17, though, I'm going to say no. I just think it's not worth buying overall. Almost no deck wants this. You can just find better ways to bring stuff back right away. Like, you can just raise dead and get back exactly what you want right away. It's only 1, but you don't have to wait a whole turn. And then, so this is better than raise dead if there's 4 creatures and you go 2 full turn cycles.
Right.
Yikes. I'm just not that interested when you can just play raise dead.
It feels like the classic Phyrexian Arena problem where I have to wait so long, and it's in my heavy creature graveyard deck. It's not a creature, so I could just play like Phyrexian Delver, and I'm giving up the fact that it goes every turn, but also adding now a creature that's abusable, and I can reanimate it, and I can get multiple triggers off of it. So I think Oversold Cemetery just probably not worth it.
You want the ultimate 1/1 replacement? Honestly, like it has a similar effect. Is Undead Butler. You mill 3 cards, and when it dies, it returns a creature. It's also a creature for your creature deck. It's probably a lot better. Oversold Cemetery, cool, unique card. Definitely an interesting card. Like the little hoop you got to jump through. But as far as like just on a power scale, not interested in buying for $17.
So what's next?
It is Fiery Covenant, suggested by Comrade. Fiery Covenant is 1 black red for a instant, and you can pay any amount of life, and you can deal that much damage divided how you choose. This card is really strong. It's only $5, and as long as your deck has at least a little bit of way to recoup some life, I'm in. I'm 100% in. It feels so good when you have a Sangomancer, a Blood Artist effect on the battlefield. Either of those two, it's like, man, everything costs literally 3 less, if every time I kill a creature, if it has 3 toughness or less, it doesn't even matter because I have Sangromancer out. That's the kind of thing you want to be doing with this card, so I'm in.
Yeah, if you have life to spare, it is a one-sided board wipe for everything that matters. You take out everything they control that matters and leave all the stuff that doesn't do anything, like if they have a Wood Elves. You don't have to kill that. It doesn't really do anything anymore. It already got the value. So you kill everything that matters. You're left with all your stuff. It's a 3-mana instant. The fact that this is instant is even better. I know there's a similar version at sorcery speed for like another mana, but I don't like that card at all. This one, though, I am so in.
Yeah, like you said, instant speed just takes this card from like meh to great. This is an amazing card. You can pretty much throw it in any deck you want to. I would just make sure you have a little bit of life gain.
Yeah, the one thing to mention, we've been shouting this card out forever now, for like years. And it was like $2 or $1 when we started shouting it out. And now it's $5, even with that Secret Lair reprint. So watch out. I will say I told you so if it goes to like 15 all of a sudden.
We will be shouting this card out until the end of time unless it hits like $150. Then it's not worth it.
That's specific. And up next, it's Limbos Vault, suggested by It's Danny Boy. Only good usernames this time around. Limbos Vault is $7, and it's blue-black for an instant. You look at the top 5 cards. If you want to keep them, great. You can rearrange them. But if you don't, you can put them on the bottom and pay 1 and repeat this process. This is possibly my vote for the most annoying card to see an opponent resolve.
I want to be complete 100% on this. This is card disadvantage. Most decks do not want a Limbos Vault. Now that being said, it is functionally a tutor as well.
Yeah.
So it is very strong Magic card. I think if you're not playing exactly incredibly high power Magic, to just avoid this card. One, like you said, this card is miserable to resolve for your opponents. It takes forever to do it correctly. Look at 5, put them on the bottom. Look at 5, put them on the bottom. And then like keep repeating this process. It's very slow. It's a good card. I mean, every CEDH deck probably going to be running this card.
Maybe. I don't actually know.
It is incredibly strong in blue-black, like very high-powered decks where card disadvantage never matters because your cards are also powerful.
Yeah, and you're drawing cards with a select few like ridiculous things. And yeah, Limbos Vault's going to be great. I think if you care about fun, this is probably like secretly one of the least fun cards to play against just because it slows the game down. And you can't really blame its caster, and it's not your fault. So it's just like, why am I here while watching this Limbos Vault? So for both power, unless you're high powered, and time considerations, I'm just going to say no.
I would say yes. It's worth $7 from a power perspective.
Okay, yes.
As soon as you take in another perspective, and the perspective is, do you want to have fun, or is this go in a lot of decks? No. Now, I don't like Limbos Vaults at all, but yes, it is worth it from a power perspective.
It breaks the time balance of the game.
You break the time balance every game.
I don't know what you're talking about. I have quick, brisk turns I take more actions than you. You're jealous.
Next is Sailor Man, suggesting Mechanized Production, which is $12 currently. This is a 4-mana aura that triggers on your upkeep to make a copy of whatever artifact you have enchanted. Then if you have an arbitrary large number of them, you win the game! Oh, goodness gracious, this card is not good. It is very slow. It takes forever to come around. It only enchants artifacts. I'm just not even close to being interested in this Magic card in any deck, in any form. Now, that being said, this is achievement unlocked. Very fun way to win the game.
True.
Cool hoop to jump through. But as far as power goes, it's not even close. It's not worth $1 for power. $12, I'm 110% out.
I'll say no, but the card is playable in exactly like one deck, and it's the treasure deck. You just enchant a treasure and win the game next turn. That's like a guaranteed win if they can't interact with your treasures. That's it. Yeah. I'm out for everything else.
Yeah, well, it's like I said, I think it's achievement. I think even in the situation of trying to do that, it's still achievement unlocked. It reminds me of like Felidar Sovereign's just not that good of a card because even though you have the life total to start, it's like, okay, hope my very fragile creature survives a whole go around the table, and it rarely will.
Or your life total stays at 40, which can also go. Revel in Riches, I don't think is that good, and is worse than that.
Yeah, so Mechanized Production, fun card. Definitely not a powerhouse. $12, not worth it unless you're just looking for fun.
All right, let's go to Grove of the Burn Willows, submitted by Bad Jur. $6 land. It makes green or red, but your opponents gain life, or it makes a colorless for free. I think this card's pretty great, and I'm glad it's down to $6. I think this is a pretty good duel.
I think this is easy, yeah. So easy. If you're playing red-green, even probably up to 3 colors, maybe even up to 4 colors, depending on your budget, this card is 110% worth it. It is a great dual land. It also gives you the production of colorless when you need it. That is underestimated because there are cards that exist like, the Eldorado is just placers and things that actually care about wingdings. So that is just an upside to have that mode on there, and giving away 1 life is nothing. Now, this might be a downside sometimes. There are the life gain decks that you give them a life, they're going to take advantage of it. You're going to trigger something of theirs, and that's going to be bad sometimes. But this is pretty much just a duel with almost zero downside 99% of the time.
Especially since in the early games, there's going to be that pressure on you to make the colored mana. So if you're stuck in an early spot where you have to use Grown the Burvils, you're going to give away, 2, 3 life tops before you fix your mana and you smooth everything out, and it can just chill and make colorless lands or colorless mana. So it's not going to really be that big of a deal. You're not gaining them 10 life each. It's not going to happen. I wonder if this is a land cycle they can even finish, because 10 of these running around might start to get ridiculous.
Actually, something about these that should be mentioned. These lands are tough to finish because in a format like Modern, blue-white specifically,
that's what I'm saying.
That would never ever care about giving away the life. The blue-white control decks, they're just free duels in that deck, and I don't know if that's. Now, that being said, I'm not trying to say I'm an expert on Modern. It's just an interesting discussion point to be had about this cycle if they ever finished it.
They did say the same thing about the Horizon Canopy cycle, and it actually didn't do much. So maybe we're wrong. So let's go to a format we know. It's Commander. This is Isochron Scepter, submitted by a random Mastodon. Just a random one off the street. What does this do?
Isochron Scepter is a 2-mana artifact. When it enters the battlefield, you imprint a 2-mana instant. Then you can pay 2, tap to cast a copy of that instant without paying its mana cost. Okay. Everyone knows the classic Isochron Scepter dramatic reversal combo. This is very common. Overall, Isochron Scepter is tough to get going. You have to get something under it, okay, and then you have to put at risk getting 2 for 1. Overall, this is a really tough card for me to judge. I think almost no decks want this. It's very hard to find the right home where you can afford to put this 2 for 1 onto the board. It's just not that strong of a Magic card if you're not comboing.
Yeah, easy no for me. This is a card that definitely has a thing going on, but it overlaps with almost nothing else in Magic. So there's not going to be a deck where it's like, oh yeah, my commander that cares about 2-mana instants, slot in my Isochron Scepter. It's just not going to happen. Once you cast Isochron Scepter, you're down a card. Once you activate it once, it feels like you're even, but you're now even to the point where Isochron Scepter has done nothing and you got your spell that you wanted anyway. You got to do it again. Now you're even. Then you got to do it again to be ahead.
Yeah, this card is just, it's fine. And I think one of the biggest things about it for me is if you ever put something worth having under it and you set up this nice little, engine, it's just such a huge target. It's just, you're going to draw attention. I put Counterspell under it. Guess what? Nobody wants to be your friend for the next turn until that thing is dead.
One of the coolest ones, I think, is probably Price of Progress. That's like, all right, this game's going places, and it's going to be over in 3 turns.
Yeah, well, that might be true. So no on Isochron Scepter from us. What is next?
Well, Selvala and Squid together have come together to present us Archaeometers Map. $12. Is it worth it? Well, it's an artifact, enters the battlefield, you get 2 planes to your hand, and then if an opponent plays a land, and they have more than you get to put one of your lands from your hand into play.
In almost any non-green deck, I feel like this is worth it. It's a very strong Magic card. Obviously, if you go up to 4 color non-green, you have a lot less basic planes, so it's a lot less worth it. But I think 1 and 2 color decks that aren't playing green, Archaeometers Map is just a staple of any deck like that. I'm in. $12, yeah, 100% worth it.
Yeah, I'm close to saying this might go in 0 green decks. Just don't ever touch
it.
That's
fair. No, that's fair.
So maybe I'll just say that and then get it for your white decks, your Boros decks, maybe even like your Mardu decks if you've got a high concentration of basics. This is a pretty good card. We've played it a couple times now. I have it. I've resolved it, and it feels decent.
Yeah, I think Archaeometers Map is just a good Magic cards, and I think, but like you said, you don't put it in green decks. As long as you follow that rule, this is a great Magic card outside of green decks.
All right, who is next?
Next,
Thamo?
I think maybe I spelled it wrong. Thermo, whatever. Thamo Genesis suggests Solitude for $60. This is 3 white for a 3/2 with flash when it enters the battlefield. Swords to Plowshare, something which means you exile it and they gain life equal to its power. And then it also has Evoke, where you can exile a white card from your hand, and then Evoke means it goes to the battlefield and you sacrifice it afterward. It's $60. I want to let's just start here. Solitude is an incredible commander card. It goes in a lot of decks. If you can take advantage by flickering it or using it multiple times, I mean, this even if you just want 0 interaction in a deck that could, easily evoke, I would spend maybe $30 on this and say it was worth it for my commander deck. This is some of the best interaction you can get for white. Okay, but now we fall off because this is not $30. This is $60. This is double the price that I'm thinking is like the max I want to pay. So, no, it's just not quite worth $60 for power, but it is an amazingly strong card.
Right. So when you're not on a budget, you can buy any card you need. So if you're not on a budget, Solitude's obviously fine. But we're talking about, is it worth the price? Which means I have a finite amount of money to spend. And $60 for a card like this, I am willing to spend $60 on a budget for like a linchpin of my deck. But usually what happens is it's a really good card that doubles as a win condition. Those are usually the cards you want to spend 60 on. Just for a really good removal spell, like it's so replaceable and it's not going to swing the pendulum way in your favor, like the best win con for your archetype. So I definitely don't think you need to spend 60 on this. Maybe wait till, I don't even know when this will go down, but maybe wait till it's $20 or try to steal one for 20.
Yeah, I could not agree with you more. It's so sad because this would be a very much a staple of white decks and Commander, but unfortunately it's not because its $60 price tag prevents people from getting it.
Thanks, Modern.
Yeah, thanks, Modern. What's next? What's the last one, BZ?
Well, it's the last one. A card that's not on this list. Preacher has suggested a card that is on this list now, Comeuppance. And I learned today that Comeuppance is $10. It prevents all damage dealt to you this turn by sources you don't control. And if a creature source was prevented, it deals damage back to that creature. If a non-creature one was prevented, that controller of that spell is taking the damage. I think this card is really, really bad, and I was stunned to know that it's 10. I think it's definitely not worth $10. You're just not going to get the value you want out of this card. It looks so much better than it is, and it has a sweet name.
This one I don't even think is, like, so Mechanized Production had the, like, fun price tag, I felt like.
Yeah.
Where it's like, this card's not good, but it's fun. This card's just bad. I think this card is just terribly, terribly bad and not even remotely close to a card you want to Commander. The creatures the creatures have to be attacking you specifically. So you had to have been the choice for attack. They attacked another player, this card's worthless. So they attacked you, then the creatures also have to have power greater than their toughness for it to matter, which sometimes that's not the case. And it's just like, why are we jumping through 10 hoops for a removal spell?
Well, you also have to hold up 4 mana, and things have to go your way. And I don't know how you're ever going to, like, what is the non-creature source that's going to kill you that you can Comeuppance in response? I don't know. Like, there's Aetherflux Reservoir, but in some cases that doesn't even work because they have so much life. I think Comeuppance is really, really bad. I do not want to hold up 4 mana for this effect. For holding up 4, we don't even hold up removal spells at 4. It's got to be some kind of like crazy synergy piece or like blowout, and this is not a blowout.
When you hold up 4 mana, it has to be something you can either most likely cast or will be very, very, very good when you do cast it.
Right.
I'm thinking like but this is 3 mana, but it is similar to Fairy's Protection. I know when I cast it and when it goes off, yeah, I had to leave up 3 mana for this, but it's going to be insanely strong when it does it. Or you have the opposite where it's like no matter I'm going to be able to cast a spell. Aven Mind Sensor, also only 3 mana. I know even if I don't get anything with this, I get to cast it anyway. Comeuppance, if you don't get to cast it, you wasted 4 friggin' mana. I think this card is unplayable in Commander. It is an F. I would not put it in any deck.
Yeah, it's not a board wipe. It doesn't even necessarily save you because you're just messing with one person who attacked you. I mean, if I look at this 4 mana and I go, would I rather just destroy all creatures at sorcery speed? Yeah.
Yeah. Would I rather play Settle the Wreckage because that's a way better Magic card that has a similar effect?
True.
Yeah. It's like Settle the Wreckage. I don't even think is that good of a Magic card.
It's more of a blowout. It's more of a blowout Magic card because you can, no matter where they're going, you can still hit them. It's just meh.
Yeah. Comeuppance, absolute no. So that is our video. This is part 6 of this series. This is becoming a staple of the channel.
Going strong.
All right, going strong. It's a good series. Special shout outs to all of our patrons. Love you all as much as we can without making you uncomfortable.
We did, and I just actually finished writing all of the thank you cards for our Kickstarter backers. So once we get those sealed and delivered, they're going to be going out real soon. Just an update on that. Support us on the Patreon if you missed the Kickstarter and you want to support us. It's the best way to do that. In the description, there's 7 tiers now, I think, and they're all bread-based.
They are bread-based. You can also go to tcgplayer.com. There are affiliate buddies. Click that link. Buy the Magic card you were going to buy anyway because TCG Player is literally the best way to purchase Magic cards anyway. And you know what? Guess what? You're supporting us just by going through that link and buying those cards. Same thing is true for Dragon Shield. The best sleeves in the multiverse toughest scales.
We're gonna keep adding slogans.
Best sleeves in the multiverse, toughest scales. They look good.
They look good. I think that was People Magazine.
People Magazine. They look good. They're really good sleeves, and honestly, I would suggest them over any other sleeves. EU and US link in the description below. Affiliate links.
All right, we know the tidbit. Cherry's got some drama.
It's not really drama.
So drama.
It's more annoying. And everyone knows the existence of Infinite Tokens. They make dry erase tokens. They came up with the idea for this product.
As far as we know.
They produced this product, and I've never seen it before. No one else has, and they're great. And they've been super good for the community. They've really helped with webcam commander.
Yeah.
And they're just awesome. They're literally the tokens we're going to be using on our gameplay. I think I want to announce it. I didn't mention this to you, but when we go over the little things at the beginning of a gameplay video, I want to mention you have to draw your tokens.
Yeah.
If you don't draw it, you don't get it. So you have to draw your tokens.
Ooh, I think that might be rough for me on episode 1.
You got to draw. You got to draw
I'm
your
a great drawer.
It doesn't matter if it looks terrible. You just have to draw.
I will try.
I drew, remember Grops? Everyone remembers Grops.
Well, we have so many memorable ones like Sally the Salamander and Grops, and I'm sure they'll all come up.
Sally the Salamander, yeah, we definitely played the card that makes the salamanders. But Infinite Tokens is awesome, and they're an amazing company that we suggest you go support. But Ultimate Guard kind of undermined them a bit, literally stealing the idea from Infinite Tokens, renaming them multi-use token.
Well, let's not say stealing. They just decided to release the same thing, and I also with little to no innovation on it. I think.
No, it's literally even the front side has a power toughness in there, and the back side just has nothing.
And then there's the black frame, which I thought was aesthetic and not that necessary, but it looks like the same thing almost.
It looks exactly. It's like they did rip off the same product, regardless of how you want to say it. They took the idea from somebody else that was unoriginal to them, and they're using it. Now, we can get into a debate about capitalism or whatever.
It's not immoral, but we're just talking about, hey, Infinite Tokens is great. I want them to keep in the community. I want them to stay in business, especially. So if you're thinking about buying them, go ahead and support Infinite Tokens. They're great people.
I don't know. It's pretty crappy. It feels so crappy to them. It feels like this is it's just, you know what? Ultimate Card's a big company that's just, screwing over the little guys. Screw them this time. I am against Ultimate Card. Makes some good product that I do use. That being said, I do not support them in trying to, undermine a small business in this way.
Hashtag reverse sponsor.
Hashtag reverse sponsor. Go Infinite Tokens. Peace out, Tribe Scout.